The following program contains shocking challenges to Republicans. If you suffer from blind party loyalty, this show might not be right for you. Check with the Tea Party leader.
Hey, you Republicans, get ready for real fights. Get ready for real fights. Defund Planned Parenthood. And you Democrats, we're sorry to see you go. Hope you enjoy life in the real world. You might be able to get a nice little job at Starbucks or at Walmart. Huh?
Speaking the truth when others hold their tongues. Wrestling for justice with left-wingers and crocodiles. Resisting the temptation to keep the peace at any price. The only talk show host who writes his own theme music, Randall Terry.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a special edition of Randall Terry, the Voice of Resistance. We are here in front of the Cannon Office Building, downtown Washington, D.C., on Capitol Hill, beginning the process of holding Representative John Boehner's feet to the fire, along with the Republican House members and the members-elect. They came to power not by following John Boehner's example, but by ignoring it. And so we're here to say to Representative Boehner, defund Planned Parenthood. That's a non-negotiable. We're here to say farewell to the Democrats who are leaving. And we're here to jolt and to jar the Republican majority that will soon be in control of the purse strings of American government. Today's program brought to you by Nancy Pelosi. Hey, she's crazy as a loon, but she helped get herself and all her Democratic buddies thrown out of office. And by President Obama, putting the S in stupid. I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll hear from Jihad Granny. Then we'll come back. You get to watch us in action. We'll tell you some of the principles that we're fighting for here on Capitol Hill today. Democrat staffers, it's good to see you go. Hopefully you'll get a real job on Capitol Hill, maybe at a Starbucks or at a Walmart in Virginia or something. Don't forget to shave your whiskers. You won't be a hill rat too much longer.
Allah Akbar. Good morning, boys and girls. I'm so happy to be with you. You know, FBI, they have done drastic things with my boy Farouk Ahmed. They think that he blew up DC metro train with Al-Qaeda. He would never do such thing, except, of course, if it were for self-defense.
Welcome back to the program, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to give to Congressman Boehner and to Congressman Mike Pence this document today. We spent an enormous amount of hours working on this. I'm going to read it to you, put portions of it up on the screen, because it encapsulates some of the pro-life Tea Party demands. I know I'm a pro-life leader. I can make these demands. Pro-life Tea Party declaration to Republicans, quoting George Washington, "The time is near at hand which must determine whether Americans are to be free men or slaves." I want you to notice right off the bat that George Washington used incendiary language, saying, hey, are we going to be slaves or free men? That's not the polite commentary that you hear on some of our talk shows or in some of our religious blogs or religious news channels or even our cable TV stations. George Washington was politically incorrect, saying, are we going to be slaves or free men? And you have to remember, folks, that the Republicans controlled the presidency and both houses of Congress for about 6 years. And we went further and further into debt. In fact, one time, John Boehner voted against a 1% reduction on all federal spending across the board. Just 1%. And he voted no during the Bush years. This possible Speaker of the House is not why the tax party came to power. They came to power by ignoring his example. I mean, the Tea Party. The Tea Party came to power. They came to power by ignoring his example, not following it. All right, so here's what the letter says. To John Boehner, GOP House members and members-elect, we, the undersigned, whose votes gave you the majority, write to you concerning your upcoming legislative duties. While we rejoice that Nancy Pelosi will no longer be Speaker of the House, this is merely a first step in the long journey to restore life and liberty in our republic. At the onset of this journey, remember your moral obligations. We did not elect you to slow down Obama's agenda. We elected you to reverse it. We did not elect you to fix Obamacare. We elected you to repeal it. We did not elect you to spend more. We elected you to cut spending, taxes, and the debt. And finally, we did not elect you to create socialism light. We elected you to end socialism in America. Therefore, you must begin the legislative process of phasing out all socialist redistribution of wealth programs in a humanitarian yet timely manner, including but not limited to Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, food stamps, agricultural subsidies, and all bailouts. I want to stop and mention to you that if you work for the benefit of another against your will, that is the essence of slavery. That's why we're saying this. Let's stop dancing around the edges. There is a growing movement in this country to end socialism. Part of our duty right now is to define it as well as end it. How are we at time right now? All right. Here's the next part of the letter. Defend innocent life first. Defund Planned Parenthood. Here's what Thomas Jefferson said. God who gave us life gave us liberty. And can the liberties of a nation be thought secure when we have removed their only firm basis, a conviction in the minds of people that these liberties are a gift from God, that they are not to be violated but with his wrath? Indeed, I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just and that his justice cannot sleep forever. Planned Parenthood is the largest consortium of baby killers in the world. They've been taking our money and use it for their godless agenda for decades. And so I continue with what we're telling John Boehner. Finally, while the economy is important, human life is sacred. We demand that you fight with concrete legislation to abolish legalized child killing by abortion, employing Article 3, Section 2, to exclude jurisdiction of the federal courts in any legislation you pass to protect unborn babies. Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution permits the Congress to say to the federal judiciary, get out. You cannot rule on this. Then we continue. Your first simple step is to protect unborn children. Your first simple step to protect unborn children is to cease all federal funding of Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is the largest consortium of child killers in the world. Since you now control federal spending, we insist that you not give one more penny of our money to this godless organization that murders babies and corrupts youth under the guise of sex education. You are on probation, right there. Produce results or lose your job. That's what we're telling the Republicans. That's what we're telling John Boehner. We will watch every vote you cast for every bill and take special note of the bills that you fail to introduce. Since you came to power based on promises you made to us regarding life and liberty, we will continuously hold you to a higher standard than the Democrats that you displaced. To whom much is given, much is required. Defunding Planned Parenthood is non-negotiable. If you fail in your duty regarding Planned Parenthood, be forewarned that we will run candidates against you in primaries in 2012. We will strive to throw you out of office just as fast as we threw out the Democrats who betrayed life, liberty, the Constitution, and the laws of heaven. We will not allow the hypocrisy and treachery of the GOP's contract with America in 1994 to be repeated in your feeble pledge to America. We want concrete results, not campaign rhetoric. As George Washington said, deeds, not words. We are not your subjects. We are your masters. We expect you to serve us faithfully So help you God. Signed, and then we're going to sign it and deliver it to John Boehner right now. And then to Michael Pence, urging Congressman Pence maybe to take a stab at becoming the Speaker of the House. We close this document, and I close this section with a great quote from Abraham Lincoln. We, the people, are the rightful masters of both Congress and the courts, and not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow men who pervert the Constitution. Abraham Lincoln. We, the people, are the rightful masters of both Congress and the courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow men who pervert the Constitution. We're here on Capitol Hill to fight. If you like this program, keep watching us, tell your friends about us, and support us. And we'll make this available soon for you to sign on to, so your voice can be heard as well. I'll be right back.
People who say they're atheists are really stupid. If they live their life by that principle, they leave no room for error.
Moments with Moses. And you shall pine away in your enemies' lands because of their iniquity, and also because of the iniquities of their fathers, they shall pine away like them.
I'm back in studio, friend, but we have a lot of footage to show you from our activities on Capitol Hill this morning. Here's footage of us presenting to John Boehner's chief of staff the letter that we just read to you in front of the Cannon Building.
John Boehner is the bane of the pro-life movement. John Boehner is the bane of the Tea Party movement. John Boehner voted for TARP when it was under Bush, but then opposed Obama. Why is that? Because he puts partisan politics ahead of principle.
Primary. Okay? No more empty promises. You with me? Yes. All right, let's go.
Mick Krieger. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for your service to the country.
Do you want to?
Make yourself comfortable.
Yeah.
Only if there's... How long have you been with the congressman, sir?
1989. Before he was elected.
What year was his first election?
1990.
So he predates the contract with America. We want Planned Parenthood defunded. If you look
Right.
down at the bottom.
Now that's Pence's bill, right?
Well, he has introduced one. There's
Yeah.
been others over the years. The issue is that if Mr. Boehner becomes Speaker of the House, he will control the legislation that comes to the floor. And the purse strings are firmly in his hands for all federal spending.
Yeah.
So this is a non-negotiable. And it's early in the game, but a fair warning is in order to say that if Planned Parenthood is not defunded by the primary season of 12, then we will absolutely seek to run primaries against Mr. Boehner, the leadership of the House, and every Republican who is not faithful to the Tea Party momentum that brought the GOP back to a majority. I was a hardcore activist in the late 80s. I was fighting my soul out for 94 for the Contract of America, and we were had. There was no substantive alteration in the direction of government, the size of the budget. None of the ethical issues were ever addressed by Newt and company, starting with Planned Parenthood. And I'm, for one, in a position now to simply not let that happen again. We all are from various parts of the country and have come here specifically to be a part of hopefully restoring this republic. And the truth of the matter is that when we had control of both houses and the presidency, the debt went up, Planned Parenthood keeps getting funded, dead babies keep getting churned out. I mean, there's no measurable alteration in the direction. We're slowing down, but we're still headed over the cliff. Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution allows for the Congress to tell the courts, basically, go to the hot place. You're not going to adjudicate on this. We're going to withhold jurisdiction from you. So we want Mr. Boehner to let a bill come to the floor of the House that outlaws all child killing from 20 weeks and up. All viable babies. 20 weeks and up, no more child killing. And then we can begin to ratchet back the clock as far as Our goal is to make it illegal from conception forward to kill any human being who resides in his or her mother's womb. But as a show of good faith and a show of turning back judicial tyranny, Mr. Boehner could allow a bill to come to the floor, even if Obama won't sign it, but allow a bill to come to the floor that has the language of excluding the courts from ruling on it. Measurable results are what we're after, and the ethical issues have to trump money. Money's important, the economy's critical, human life is sacred.
Generation to praise the Lord, I just want to give you a little model of the unborn child whose heart beats at 21 days from conception.
That's the size. So, it's murder. It's murder. Slavery was horrifying. Child killing is worse. Killing these babies is worse, and their blood is going to demand a terrifying reckoning. The issue is to now work towards what our faith demands of us, namely that we don't just say we're pro-life, but we fight to restore the protection of law to these children. There's political capital that has to be spent to stop Obama, or to repeal Obamacare, or to just say, fine, we don't have the votes to repeal it, we're not going to give you any money. We still control the appropriations. So there's ways that this can be fought out, slugged out. But we want to see from Mr. Boehner that he values these babies' lives more than bad headlines frighten him. Because if he goes after Planned Parenthood, there's a price to pay.
Every 20 seconds, a baby is killed by abortion.
If you go to my website, you'll see the ads that ran. We ran 225 of them for 2.5 weeks and caused an absolute firestorm. It was unbelievable. I got thousands and thousands of hate mail and thousands of hate voicemails and threats.
And people
And I
saying
got
great.
support.
We'll be right back after this break, and we'll take you to the office of Congressman Mike Pence. Don't go away.
Fail faster, Randall. Here, let me help you out. No!
Victory will never be found by taking the line of least resistance. Sir Winston Churchill. Welcome back to the program, friend. We were on Capitol Hill this morning showing you the footage. Here we go now to Mike Pence's office. Much shorter. And these are our associates. We're fans of Mr. Pence, big fans. We came by for two reasons. Should I address you?
Either one is fine.
What's your name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer, hi, I'm Randall.
Hi.
Pleased to meet you. This is a letter to Mr. Boehner, but also to Mr. Pence. And we'll begin to circulate this on the web. Basically, it's saying to the Republicans, one critical non-negotiable is you've got to defund Planned Parenthood. No more money to Planned Parenthood. Mm-hmm. The second reason is to urge Mr. Pence to run for the speakership. Mm-hmm. We don't trust Boehner. He just resigned as chairman.
That's right.
And I thought, okay, then run for speaker.
He doesn't have plans to do that, so.
He does not?
Mm.
Well, would you tell him that there are some fans of his here that suggested it? Well, my advice to him politically would be go ahead and run against Boehner. Even if he loses, it'll get his name in a national debate in a bigger way than just outside of the district. Because there are some serious differences between him and Mr. Boehner.
Well, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you guys' opinions, and we'll give this to Mr. Pence.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. What are you guys here lobbying for?
Trying to get some veterans' problems straightened out.
Good for you. Thank you for your service to the country.
Thank you.
God bless you. Long life to you. Well, there you have it. It's really not that hard. Stick with us, and we will teach you how to do this in your own community and here in our nation's capital. I'll be right back. Appoint a wicked man against him. Let an accuser bring him to trial. When he is tried, let him come forth guilty. Let his prayer be counted as sin. George Washington said, of all the dispositions which lead to political prosperity, religion and morality are indispensable supports. Friend, I'm prepared to be just as politically incorrect and just as extreme as our first president under this Constitution, George Washington. And if Mr. Boehner and Mr. Pence and the Republicans who now have control of the House want to bring America back to moral sanity, they need to follow George Washington's advice.